Good morning, Chad C. with C Real Estate, and just a few tips today on getting your offer accepted. You're a buyer, you've made a few offers on houses. For some reason, the seller keeps going with another offer, and sometimes that could be for reasons that are just beyond your control. The other people are offering cash, or they're putting a lot of money down, and that's not an option for you. There's other things that those sellers are able to do that you aren't. But there's some things that are within your control. So, as I've mentioned before, I'm seeing some buyers now waive inspections. It's a little risky, but if you've walked through it and it's obvious that the sellers have taken great care of that house, it's maybe not as risky as if you go through a house and it just doesn't seem to be in that great a shape. So some buyers will either waive inspections, they'll limit those inspections by saying, look, we're not going to ask you to fix anything that has an estimated cost to repair of under $1,000 or $2,000 or whatever it is. Sometimes offers are made that are not subject to appraisals. Now, if you're getting a bank loan with minimum down payment, your offer probably has to be subject to a bank appraisal. The appraiser is going to have to prove it's worth what you're paying for the house. There are some buyers, however, who have extra cash and they can make up the difference between what the house appraises for and what that actual sales price is. If you can do that, that's an advantage. And some of these strategies you've probably heard of. You can be very flexible in your closing date. You can agree to let the seller stay in the house after closing for up to a certain amount of time, maybe even rent-free. So in a seller's market like this, you just want to sweeten your offer as best you can. A couple of overlooked areas when making an offer on a house, it can sometimes be the deciding factor as to whether or not your offer gets chosen. One is, are you using a local lender? In certain parts of the country, most parts of the country, realtors, when they see a pre-approval letter from a lender, they love to see that it's a lender they know. It's someone right down the street or in town, someone they could drive over and chat with if they wanted to. It's someone that they know has a good understanding of that local market. Sometimes when agents see letters from lenders that are either internet lenders or in a whole nother state, oftentimes the thought process is, well, they don't know this local market. It's not a personal touch. And realtors think that way for good reason. I think over the 31 years I've been selling real estate, it just seems to be a higher success rate when the lender who is helping the buyer get their financing is close by, they're local, they have some longevity, it's not high turnover, it's not a different loan officer every month, it's someone who just knows the local market. So that can really sway a seller sometimes and their realtor towards your offer, having a local lender. Also the realtor you choose, be careful about that. When you make an offer on a house, there's a realtor representing the seller who's looking out for that seller's best interest. That realtor is going to pay attention to who your realtor is. If your realtor is someone who has a great reputation for getting deals done, a reputation for being easy to work with, for being reasonable, that can increase the chances of the other realtor encouraging the seller to go with your offer. Because if all things are equal and there's a realtor who the seller's realtor has worked with a number of times, that can be the deciding factor. The realtor might even have that conversation with their seller. This guy or girl's been selling real estate for a long time. They sell a lot of houses. They know what they're doing. They get things done. And again, if all things are equal, that could be the deciding factor. So I'd recommend you have a local lender, that you have a reputable agent in your area, someone with some experience, and very importantly, a good relationship with all the other area realtors. If you have a realtor who doesn't have that good relationship, or not as many realtors enjoy working with, that can really work against you. So do your homework, get some referrals to a good local real estate agent, and make sure you've hear some good things about them and you have some confidence as you start down the road, there's other things that can give you an advantage in getting your offer accepted. But those are just a few thoughts this morning. I hope you have a fantastic week.